Humans are actually the most violent, war-geared species in the galaxy. Another alien species has come to us with a request. We need help killing these guys. They hate us and have oil. Here, have some technology and go nuts. After centuries of observation, there was only one inevitable conclusion that the galaxy's many civilizations had been able to agree upon: humanity was far too dangerous and destructive to deserve faster-than-light technology. The Sentinels, in their report to the leaders of many worlds in the Galactic Council, made particular note of how humans in the Americas were treated once the other humans discovered those lands, and made a pretty obvious comparison to how their own planets would be treated. And that conquest was back when they were still using spears and guns. Imagine what they could do with nuclear weapons. The humans would always want more. The Merida were the first species to break the pact. Some historians blame the fervent religious cult that had arisen around their chieftain, Herlosk. Others blamed the massive drought that plagued Merida's western hemisphere, making food from their off-world colonies even more important. They could not afford to lose any of their settlements to invading Ian. History could have even been influenced by that popular series of fictional adventure stories about human warriors, who had achieved almost legendary status on most worlds. Whatever the reason, Herlosk approached the humans and made them an offer. Reclaim the Merida colonies from the reptilian Ian, and they'd be rewarded with plunder and advanced technology beyond their wildest dreams. But even the Merida weren't foolish enough to offer the wormhole generators that would have allowed humans to travel between solar systems in an instant. Humans were amazed by the sudden arrival of the extraterrestrials, and even more astounded by the offer. The nations of Earth had spent years and years trying to calm their own destructive impulses with treaties and disarmament to focus on more peaceful pursuits. And now it turns out that the way for humans to finally reach the stars was to embrace the inner warrior after all. Funny, isn't it? That after millennia of trying to kill each other off to be king of the hill, the one thing that actually managed to unite the humans was the chance to go to war with others? Sure, it wasn't immediate, but it didn't hurt. Chinese, Russian, American, and European armies all leapt at the chance to acquire some new alien technology, if only because they knew that their rivals would be getting it. They formed a cohesive fighting force, stronger together than they'd ever been separately. And after less than a generation, those petty differences that had seemed too massive were suddenly forgotten. Herlosk and the Merida were true to their word. They built massive warships designed for humans, but with no wormhole generators. The humans had been kept in the dark about this very crucial part of the plan. It was supposed to be a one-way trip. Once those ships arrived at Aya and the war began in earnest, there would be no going back. At least, not for thousands and thousands of years at sublight speeds. Herlosk thought himself pretty shrewd for this twist, as did his brainwashed followers. The Ian would be defeated, and the humans would never be heard from again. Win-win. The Merida Navy opened a wormhole between Sol and Aya, watched the warships vanish through, and returned to their own homes. Mission accomplished. One single Ian ship arrived at Merida a matter of days later. It broadcast its message to the entire planet: "We're here to discuss surrender." The entire planet feasted that night, knowing that they would soon be replenished by the colonies. Herlosk's wild gambit had paid off better than anyone had ever dreamed. Even the most optimistic of experts expected fighting to rage on for at least half a Meridan year, which would be about 2 Earth years. Herlosk accepted the message, again allowing the broadcast to be sent to every citizen worldwide. This was a great day, and he wanted to bask in his glory. None would dare challenge his leadership now. Very well, he told the sole Ian occupant of the ship. What are your terms? The Ian licked his eyeballs, and Herlosk was briefly confused. Wasn't this a sign of excitement in that culture? No matter. Unconditional, the lizard answered. Very well. Herlosk gave his most gracious bow, but couldn't contain the overjoyed wiggling of his antennae. I accept your surrender. The Ian ruffled his scales and gave a shiver, which is their equivalent of a laugh. Oh, no, Herlosk, the Ian told him. Herlosk could see the many rows of teeth lining his jaw. I am here to accept your surrender. 100 Merida ships blinked into existence, each from a separate wormhole. All of them bristled with the advanced weaponry that the Merida had designed for the humans. You gave them faster-than-light travel, Herlosk gasped at the Ian delegate. Unthinkable. The Ian didn't seem even slightly bothered. You would have seen us both destroyed, he answered. Tell me, Chieftain Herlosk, a human voice broke into the transmission. Are you familiar with the term counteroffer? Thus ends the history of Herlosk the Fool, and the beginning of the Empire of Man.